to talk about the Titan. The Titan is a sci-fi film. It was available on Netflix. It's currently available on Amazon Prime in the UK. It came out a couple of years ago and starred Sam Worthington and I can't think of her name now. The lady from Orange is the New Black. Going through global disaster and the Earth won't be inhabitable soon. So they're looking to Titan, a moon of Saturn, to send the human race. But it's unhospitable as an environment, so they've got to make changes to us in order to allow us to be able to live there. This means that army people are selected from around the world, where they go to a secret base with their families and then undergo experiments to change their bodies to become more adaptable. And what you think you will get is a sort of science fiction body horror film that lets you see the horrors of going through these changes and the stresses on the family life. No, you don't really get that. What you get is a film that is devoid of a second act. In the first act they turn up and you get explanation of who, what, where, why and when. But then you get some minor body changes and then it jumps straight to, oh, now he sort of looks like an alien. And he's running around the base trying to kill people. And what they try to do is the reason you miss out on that second act is because they try and focus the story on the wife and how she's like reacting to him coming home from these experiments and things like that. But it's just so underwritten that you don't get any good reactions really, because he's not gone through any major changes. He pukes up a few times, his skin goes a little bit pale, but beyond that, nothing really massive happens. There's shots of other characters throwing their spouses out the window and things like that, but it's very few and far between, and it just doesn't work. What they should have had was a focus on the main character, the bloke who's undergoing the experiment, and his relationship with the scientist, and they should openly say at the start, this is what we're going to do to your family and your body. Because they part explain what they're going to do to them, but then they put in this extra plot of, oh, you didn't tell us you were going to like mutate them and change their DNA. And you think, well, they kind of did at the start. There's a whole slideshow we saw at the start where they showed his body changing and then turned into like a grey-skinned alien. Just not quite as extreme as we thought it would be. There's no reason for them to keep it a secret. These guys have signed up to have their bodies massively altered. So why not just say, we're going to inject you with animal DNA, you're going to go through some changes, it's experimental, but it's for the good of the world, and you're all signed up. And then you can have this tension between, he's got on this mission, and the head scientist can go, well, you signed up for it, this is what we're doing, and his family then reacting to him coming home with various new bits on his body, various changes, things like that. But they don't. All of a sudden he gets some bleeding eyes, goes off and just says, finish me off. And so you just see a very crappy montage where they kill off the entire team of recruits, and they're left with just two. Him and Nathalie Emmanuel from Game of Thrones and the Fast and Furious series. They look like aliens, and then their families are disgusted. They run around the base. You don't see any of the powers that he has. So there's a scene where he tries to escape after stabbing someone in the neck with this sort of Wolverine style sharp tentacle that comes out of his hand that again could have been a thing with his wife. And you focus on the wife running to go and get the kid. And then he comes back covered in bullet holes after you've heard all these gunshots and fire, and you think, well, oh god, that's what I wanted to see. You could have had this whole scene of him taking out all these people with his new powers, showing him being super strong, showing him using these wings that he's got, showing him, seeing in the dark, all this kind of stuff. But they don't. So you just see a woman running to pick up her kid from an office room where she's left him. And then the ending just kind of feels all over the place, because one minute they're all objecting to him having done these experiments and they think the main scientist is this super evil guy and he doesn't want to go to Titan on his own. And then 30 seconds later, he's on a plane to Titan. And then he's on Titan, and his wife's happy about it somehow. And everyone's going, wow, it's amazing, really good discoveries they made. None of it makes any sense at the end. It's like 4 or 5 endings just crammed into one, and they couldn't pick. And then suddenly the wife's working on the Titan 2 project, which means she's quite happy to be working on this project that previously upset her so much because it mutated her husband. It just, I don't know. It was a really wasted opportunity of a film. It was done better before in an Outer Limits episode starring Richard Thomas from the Waltons, where he's a scientist who injects himself with a virus that starts mutating his body to adapt. And he has all manner of crazy shit going on with his body. He has like eyeballs growing out the back of his head. He grows gills. But that's all done in like 45 minutes. This is an hour and a half that feels like 2.5 hours. Let me know what you think about it. I mean, I watched it. You know, I like science fiction. I like things like that. But I just think it's a very big missed opportunity for a good sort of body horror film that could take cues from things like The Fly. Obviously, that is sort of the gold standard for this kind of stuff. And it just seems to miss the mark so massively. Please feel free to give us a like and a subscribe, and thanks for watching.